Leftists are absolute crazies. They can't just leave us alone. They never allow us in their spaces. And this is why I'm very, very hard on leftists. I'm actually having a little bit of trouble on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days, because I say, look, we're not going to allow leftists into our movement. What leftists do every single time is corrupt our movement. They demand to be let in. They demand to take over our movement. They demand that our movement then have their values, and then they kick us out. And once they kick us out, they work really hard to never let us back in again. This was detailed in a book way back in 2016 called SJWs Always Lie. Very important stuff. And this is a blueprint on how to handle it. And you never let leftists in even once, because this is what's happening to the mainstream comic industry right now. And this is why Ethan Van Sciver is getting, of course, real life threats because he's just trying to sign some books for some fans. This is a crazy, crazy deal, but it's also to be expected in 2023. So hi guys, my name is John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator. If you want to support our channel, if you want to support our cultural movement, the best way to do so is Subscribestar. It's a Patreon alternative. I was banned from Patreon, of course. They got me and they said that I was doing hate speech. Now, I don't post anything on Patreon or Subscribestar other than like cultural content. I'm making books, I'm making comics, I'm writing novels, and of course, I want to get people on here so that we can fund full monthly comics. Once we get to 300 subscribers, that is going to be what we can do with the funds here, and this is something I'm very excited to do. So please jump on here. That link's in the description below. I really appreciate everybody who's done so. We've had a good increase this month as we started to build this up. And if you want to get some books that are already out, I've got my store on delarose.com, of course, my own website, where I've got all my graphic novels right here. You see that I'm a very prolific writer, and there's going to be a little something for everybody here, which is a lot of fun. So thank you so much for supporting us over the years and supporting our cultural movement. We need you now more than ever. We can't even go to comic book stores, and that's what's happening right here. So this guy right here, Matt Doe Laureate. I'm a huge nerd. If it's geeky, I'm into it. Comics, D&D, Dr. Battlestar, Trek Wars Gate, Geriatric Millennial. And he's got the flags he, they, she, any. He, they, she, any. And then he's got don't be under 18 because, he's going to post some degenerate stuff on here. Okay. So here he says, comicsgate is a hate group, even in the face of tons of evidence. EVS maintains he's innocent. Once a Nazi, always a Nazi. So this is the thing, of course, they call anybody who disagrees with them politically or voted for the other party a Nazi. I mean, we've been through this over and over. And this is what the left does. They just make you an extreme caricature in their mind so they can pretend to be a superhero. If you look at what leftism is at the end of the day, it's about them pretending that reality is a certain way. Like this guy thinks he's a he, she, they, and even though he's a guy, and he thinks he's a superhero, Captain America fighting literally Hitler in World War II by trying to stop Ethan Van Sciver from drawing frog pictures in a store. I mean, let that sit in. It's always about fakeness with them. He's not a superhero. Ethan's not a Nazi. There's not a war going on. It's just some guy who wants to draw his comics for his fans and be left alone, and this guy acting like an ass on the internet. That's all that's happening here. But they want you to accept their reality, and if you don't accept their reality, this fake reality that's not what the real world is, you're a bigot, you're a liar, you're an evil person. And that's coercion. So they want to coerce you via violence, via threats, to accept their reality. That's what leftism is in a nutshell. It's disgusting. And so here it is. Ethan announced that he's got some signing going on, and he's going to draw some sketches at a local comic book store. And so this guy throws a fit on that comic book store's website. EVS being there means I won't. I'll actively discourage others from coming too. So this guy's going to harass a local comic book store, they're already struggling enough in business because he wants his politics respected at all costs. They have to disinvite anybody who disagrees with me. And he's going to harass them over it. And he calls Comicsgate a right-wing hate group, posts some random wall of text because this is what left does. They can't meme. So Ethan actually responds, ridiculous. Comicsgate exists to push back against political discrimination in comics and invite Republicans and moderates to enjoy comics again. That's pretty nice. And I agree with that because, of course, Republicans and moderates have not been allowed to enjoy comics for the last number of years with Marvel and DC acting as they have. This all started when I wrote my piece for The Federalist that detailed every single Marvel comic writer had nasty things to say about Trump, Republicans, and Christians. Every single one. There wasn't even one silent when I wrote this article for The Federalist. And that's exactly what's been going on. throughout this entire cultural setup and all this. And that's the problem that we face and why we need to just be able to just go to comic book shops. I mean, my gosh, what are you getting threats like this? EVS, F you Nazi, this guy says. Now, he actually left out the part that he says he will organize a protest if Ethan is allowed to show up here. Let me see if I can pull up the rest of this conversation here. I've got it on a different browser, of course, which makes it difficult. Let me see. Let's see. Do we have it up here? I don't have it easily available to do. It's not easy to do because I've got it on a different browser. But what he says is, out of respect for the owner and the comic community, I decided to just opt out of your signing event. I know it's a matter of time before you're grubbing for quarters in the streets anyway. That's what he says. However, if you antagonize us, and I don't know how that is, I'll show up with friends and protest in a protest permit. Effing try me, cocksucker. Yes, this is the diverse and inclusive person willing to let Ethan just hang out and be a good guy here with his on-time books. It's really sad to watch this. So he's going to protest a comic book signing because this guy, it's ironic too, he calls comicsgate a hate group, but obviously this guy's so filled with hate. He's running all the hate here. Ethan's just having fun, chilling out, didn't do anything, didn't provoke this guy. And this guy's like talking about showing up and having a full-on protest to harass Ethan out of being able to just sign comic books. Absolutely crazy these days. Wow. The paradox of tolerance. If you look at tolerance, not as a moral standard, but as a social content, and this is it. Ridiculous. But this is what these guys do. Poor Ethan Van Sciver is the victim here 100%. And I hope he's able to have a safe and pleasant signing at this comic book store without this guy harassing him. He deserves that at the very least. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to support our books, The Alternative in Culture, because, gosh, we're blacklisted from the industry, my friends. And this guy, this Mando laureate, really makes it so that we can't get mainstream publishing. We can't get into comic shops. And that needs to change, my friends, because we have the best books out there. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you'll join us. See you soon.